Welcome to our apple-pear exercise using Gravit. I'm going to start here and hit the create button after logging into Gravit. And I'm going to do this real quick. So I have very extensive directions, but I'm going to do this quick. So if you need to just pause it while I'm doing it, but I don't want to make this video too long. So we're going to start off by going here to make a circle. And that's from this shape tool here. We're going to make an ellipse. And we're just going to make an oval. And we're going to make it about 300 by 200. So it's going to be about 200 wide by about 300 high. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it. You could do it right over here an angle. Just put in 15 and it'll rotate that much. You could also use this thing to rotate it manually. And we're going to make a mirror image, and instead of trying to flip it or mirror image, I'm just going to make a copy. You could do Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V, or you could hold down your Option or Alt key and just drag it and make a copy. Now we want to rotate it the other way, so you could just go in here and put -15, and there's your other oval, and we're going to overlap these. We're going to highlight both of them using your select tool, and we're just going to align them up and down, which would be this, align middle, and I'm just going to move these a little closer together, like that should be fine. Now what we're going to do first, you always have to do this a couple times, we're going to convert to path. And then once we do that, that keeps them from being ovals, and now they're paths. You can see over here they're paths. And then what we're also going to do is use one of these operations here. We're going to use the union, and it'll kind of join it together as two paths. Now it's not permanent yet. If you want to edit the anchor points, you have to make it permanent. So you can move it around like this as one path, but if you want to make it permanent, you have to do this thing again. So do this one more time. And now when you click on this with this sub-select tool, if you use this, you could click on the anchor points, and what we're going to do here is we're going to use the mirrored. Now one side goes down, the other's still up. If you just move this like this, and then as flat as you can, and then just move this up a little bit, and I'll stretch these out a little to make it a little more apple-like. Click on the point and then grab the handle. And then that looks kind of apple-like. We shouldn't have to do anything down here, so it kind of looks like an apple. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's the main part of our shape. Then we're going to draw another circle. We're just going to draw one over here, and it's going to be kind of the bite out of the apple. Now you could color these at any time, but I'm going to wait to color them. I'm just going to put a little bite on the apple, almost like the Apple logo. And before I do any kind of operations with paths, I also have to convert it to a path again, so that these are both paths. And then what I'll do is I'll highlight both of these, and I'll use another operation. This one's called subtract, where the top shape will kind of cut out from the bottom shape. So I'll hit subtract, and now we have the bite out of the apple, and it's one shape. Now you can see it's still not permanent, but we're not going to do anything else to it. So you could leave it like this, or you could hit convert to path again. But it's okay like this, so you could leave it like that for now. And then we're going to make a leaf shape. Now you could color this red. What I'm going to do right now is just make two ovals, just right here. And I'm just going to drag copy and make a second one. And I'm looking for the overlapped shape. If I highlight both of these, I'm looking for this shape right here. And it's going to be kind of our leaf shape instead of trying to draw a leaf. And you could even highlight these things. You could even align them using this thing again. And then in order to do our operation, I'm going to hit convert to path. So they're both paths. Then I'm going to use this, or this is called the, I'll highlight these here. This is called the create compound shape button. And I'm going to choose intersect. And I'm going to get the intersection of those two shapes. And you can see it's kind of like a leaf shape, and I could even hit convert to path. And I'm going to color this green by going down to fill color. I'll just make it green because it's going to be the leaf. And then this thing I'm going to make red, so I could go down to fill color. I'll make it a gradient. I'll go radial gradient. And right now it's black and white, and I'm going to make it red and white. So I'll click on the black part and make that red. And then this thing, if you grab with the quad arrow right here, just kind of move that up. You can move the gradient, and then grab this little circle, move it down. This little circle, move it over. And then you kind of have a smaller gradient. And then you could take the leaf and kind of rotate it, I guess like the Apple logo. You could do that manually. You could even squash it a little if you want and put it there. And there's our apple. You could rotate it a little bit more. And that's our apple part. So that's pretty easy. And I'm just going to move that over, and I'm going to make a pear. Now this is real easy. This will be even quicker. I'm going to go and make a circle again, an ellipse, or I guess a little one. This will almost like a snowman with two snowballs. And I'll copy by drag copying, holding my Alt or Option key, and I'll make the one on the bottom bigger. Now, when it looks like kind of a snowman, I'm going to highlight both of these, and I can align them using this align. This is the center align or line center button. You can see they kind of align on their center axis. And right now I'm going to also convert it to path again, because you can't do any of these operations unless they're paths. And right now they're not. They're still ellipses. So if we do this, now they're paths. You can see path, path. Now we can do an operation called union again, which we did before when we used the two ovals to make our apple. We're going to use union. Now it doesn't look like a pear yet. Now after we do union, to make it permanent, we'll hit convert to path again so that we can edit the anchor points. And then we're going to go into our sub-select tool, and we don't have to do anything that detailed. Don't try to modify this. Just hit your delete key. Just hit delete and get rid of it. Select this one and hit delete, and then click on this one. Just extend the handle down a little bit, and you have an instant pear shape just by extending those handles. You can move them around, but that looks kind of pear-shaped enough. And I'm going to go back to my regular pointer tool. Click on this, give it a pear color. You could use a gradient, or you could keep it solid. Use kind of a goldish, kind of green color. I'll move it down a little bit. And then you might as well use this leaf. So I'll just do an Option drag or a Alt drag. And make sure you leave go of your mouse first, and then leave go of the Alt or Option key. And just to make this one different, I'm going to flip the leaf this way. And it's kind of behind it right now. Now you can drag this path up in front so that the leaf's in front, just so it's a little different than the apple one. And then what you could do is you could highlight these two shapes, the leaf and the apple shape. Use this button, which is group, so they group together. And then I'll highlight these and group them together so that you can move them as one. That way, if you want to make a little ensemble of the apple and pear, you could do that. I'll make sure the bite shows up over there, but I'll just kind of move the pear right here. And there's our little apple and pear. And just to add a little decoration, I'll highlight both of these groups, and I'll put a drop shadow, and I'll just use a standard kind of 10, 10, tab 10, tab 10, tab 50 to lighten it up a little bit. And there we have a nice little picture of a pear and an apple with our leaves. And we use these operations, they're Boolean operations that are under here that are union, intersect, subtract, and difference. But right now we were just using the intersect to make the leaves. We use a subtract to make the bite out of the apple. And we use the union of the two circles to make the pear and also to make the apple as well. So those are some vector operations using Gravit, and that was pretty easy. When you're done with this, you're going to save it. You could go to File, Save, and just call it 6B, apple pear. You can put it all together as one word, and hit Save. And when you want to share it, just hit the Share button. Copy the link, go back to My Warren, find the assignment. Now, I don't have assignment open yet, but just for example, I'll just use the other one as an example. The other one, this will be 6B, but I'll go back to this one, and if I made a new one here, I could just add comment. Here, I'll make a second comment, and make sure you do Insert Link, and you paste it here, and choose New Window, and hit OK, and hit Save. Now this will make a second comment actually in the same box, so there it is right there. And that's all you need to do. So that's EX6B. That was pretty quick. There's 3 pages of instructions, but if you watch me do it, it actually didn't take that long.